Listen to Career Paths by Implement every Thursday.
You might learn something.
You might not.
Available on Apple Podcasts,
On Spreaker,
Spotify,
on Google,
and iHeartRadio. It's your life. Make it happen.
Camera then you just
That was part of the show before we ever started. I was going to do that, and at each show we're going to progress. We might progress slowly here again, but where the cards, I'd walk in, have a picture like at the beginning of the show, me walking in like to the studio or house or whatever, and having cards with me, and then they get bigger and bigger, and eventually it's a big white card coming in, but it's like a piece of plywood.
yeah, big sheet of plywood.
Here's my notes.
It was just my contractor the other day. His drywaller did that. He's like, "Hey, I need an invoice for that job." So he goes out, grabs a sheet of freaking plywood, and he puts in this is square footage, and it's a great big sheet. So the contractor sits down with a piece of 1/4-inch sheeting and cuts it out, makes him a big check. He says, "Oh, I got your check for you." And brings out this great big check and gives it to him. He did it all. He put down the numbers, the account numbers, the routing numbers, did a really good job. So he takes it. His girlfriend works at the bank. He takes it in there and goes, "Hey, I need to cash this." They're like, "He did a really good job, but no, we're not cashing that."
She looks closer and goes, "Wait a minute. He put our routing number and account on it.
What the?
We're paying ourselves."
No, it was funny.
All right, are you guys ready?
I'm
I'm
ready.
ready. Are you ready?
Sure.
And I'm taking Keith's suggestion to, instead of going right into it, I'm going to chit chat with you, John. Hey, how's it going? How you doing, John? What's new in the world?
Okay.
And then we'll go,
So, let's jump right in.
let's get.
All right, you're good. Oh, and action. Oh.
I was going to do something, but I'm... Welcome to Career Paths by Infonet. I'm your host, Victor Boudreau. Behind the scenes, Mr. Ryan King. Today, our guest is John
Simpson.
Thank you, John. John, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great. How are
It's
you?
been life is good.
Life is great, isn't it?
How's the new house?
Awesome. I love it. My wife loves it.
How the kids like it?
And we don't have any kids left. They're all
They don't come to try to move back home because it's so nice?
No, they don't get that option.
Nice. Well,
They're all old enough now that they
Get
don't
out.
get to come home.
Get out.
If they absolutely have to, yes, I will let them come home. But it's gonna have to be a major.
I went bankrupt. Yeah. So it's been a while. You were on the show before.
Yep. it was.
And what did we talk about? What career and job did we talk about that
That was
time?
my sales career. And
For?
LS Tractor.
Correct. I remember the tractor. I just remember.
It was LS Tractor, and that was my sales career, and I've done that for.
And you're still doing that.
Yes, I
Thank
still do that.
Okay, but this time around,
We're going to talk about my coaching and training business that I got.
and how long have you been doing this?
I've been doing this for just about a year now. It's my side hustle, but that's what I want to do
Sure.
full time because I love helping people get better. This is my goal.
He can help us, Ryan. I can't afford him though. John, give us a little background on yourself. Name, rank, serial number. Name. You got family, wife,
Yep,
kids.
I got a wife. Been married for 17 years this year.
Wow.
We got 3 kids and 2 grandkids.
Wow.
And if I would have known grandkids were so much fun, I would have been nicer to their parents when they were growing up. But
I've always heard that though.
yeah, I love my grandkids.
Well, you're not responsible. You can do whatever and get rid of them,
No,
give them
you
back to
can-
mom and dad.
You can sugar them up and spoil them and say, well, go back. They're great kids though. They would never. Dad's got them pretty well.
So you or mom beat your son to beat your child, your grandchild. Some people don't do that. Some people, keep them in line. Nowadays, everybody wants to be friends.
Yeah, no, my son's a parent.
Nice.
Parent first, friends second. We always got to have that hat, You can be a friend.
I've
You
seen a
got
lot.
to have that parent hat. That you got to take the
A lot of
friend
people,
hat
I
off.
don't. They lost their parent hat, is my opinion.
Yeah.
But Ryan.
I had one.
Oh, oops. So, John. So what's the name of the business that you're
The name of my
coaching?
business is Courage Services.
Spell
That's
that.
N as in Nancy.
Nancy?
Courage Services. So there's basically no E at the front.
So how, just to start off now, we'll hit it later. How does somebody contact you if they're interested, or after they go, oh yeah, I want to contact him, so that, yeah.
Pay attention till the end because I got a free gift coming. A couple free gifts at the end,
Wow.
and I'll give you all that information at the end. But
Of course,
there's
I won't
free
get that
gifts.
free gift, even though I probably need the help the most.
Well, you could, but
Probably not. So, why did you want this career? Why? How did that come about with you?
Well, I'll tell you, I owned my own business back in up until 2010.
Doing?
I had rental equipment and small engine repair.
Correct. I remember that.
I went bankrupt, and
Happens.
while I was doing that, I was looking for somebody to help me with my business.
Right.
And so when I got out of it and I went bankrupt, I started studying business. And because I was outside sales, I was in my car all the time. So I went to Automobile University, and I spent hours and hours and hours listening to podcasts and mainly podcasts and tapes and reading, and I learned what I did incorrectly. So now I came upon the Ziegler Corporation because I was looking for some sales training for my dealers that I work with now, and they offered a coaching program.
Is that Ziegler?
Zig Ziglar. So I'm currently one of 8 Ziegler certified coaches in the United States.
One of 8.
One of
Wow.
8. Yeah.
Wow.
So I was in.
Which one are you? 1, 4, 6?
I'm number 1.
I knew that was coming. I lined it up for you, John. I lined it up for you.
I'm number 1.
Well, for sure. You're number 1 in my heart.
So I've got that program, and it includes training, and it's just.
So that's a part of this.
Mhm.
Okay.
So I help people get from where they are
Mhm.
to where they want to go with action steps.
Nice.
I concentrate on the small business person because that was who I was and who I want to. I can help
You
just
can relate.
about anybody, but I really focus on the small business. And if you're a small business person, the worst thing, what happens is we get in a bad mindset, and and that's what happened to me because I got into the go big or go home. You know, I always told myself, go big or go home. I can go bankrupt for $10,000 or $1 million. Well, I went bankrupt for $1.2 million. So even worse than $1 million. So
Good for you.
we get in that mindset, and then it got to the mindset. It's like, I don't know what to do. I just literally didn't know what to do because 2008, everything dried up. Business dried up. We went from $1 million a year to about $200,000 a year,
Wow.
and I was in debt up to my eyeballs, and I just finally decided that I was I had to stop and go get a job. And that end mindset, if I would have had somebody come in and probably help coach me through that and help me look at my business, I probably could have pulled that off. And
That
so
being
that's what I
said,
was looking at.
That being said, can you see what what you know now? You could have helped yourself.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yes,
You'd be
because I went back and studied why I failed.
okay. That's part of.
Because failure is just a learning experience.
I agree.
I needed to, so I went back and asked my employees. I had lunch with my employees. I had lunch with vendors. I went back and actually studied. I had lunch with my banker, and I'm like, where did I go wrong? What did I do wrong? Sure. And you know, the main thing I went wrong was I quit learning because I got to the point to where I thought I knew it all. And
Really?
You never can learn. You can
No,
never
I
know it all. And I quit trying to learn. I started trying to save my business instead of learning how to save my business and working in my business all the time and not working on my business. And if I would have spent more time working on, which I always knew that, But I didn't know the definition is there, but most people don't understand what that is.
So clarify that for me.
Working on your business is working on your vision. It's working on your goals.
Mm-hmm.
It's working on where you want to be and how to get there. Working in your business is payroll, day-to-day stuff.
Right.
And too many times we get stuck in that. And so me as a coach, I come in and I get people unstuck. And
Nice.
get them out of that and get them focused on where they want to go. Because, and another thing we get as entrepreneurs, we start losing that vision and where we're going, and we go, squirrel. Oh, there's a squirrel. And we start going this way, and we quit. Ryan's raising his hand.
Mr. King off the camera.
So, I mean, and I bring them back to where they want to be and keep them focused on where they want to be.
And with your own personal experience, obviously you can.
Yeah, I can take them there, and I know what they're going through, and I know
Right.
I know they're. It's like you may have that idea, but is that really part of your vision and your goals?
How long have you been doing this?
I've been doing it about just over a year.
Okay.
I've been studying for about 10 years.
Forever. Have you ran into this situation? That's an obvious question, but did somebody contact you already? For example, I just want the story or basic. They've already contacted you. Your same situation from when you got a small business, and then you went,
Yeah, I've got a coaching client right
Here.
now that
okay.
I work with. That's exactly where he was, and he was doing the squirrel thing, and we've got him.
So he's not working in the business so much?
Wasn't work.
But he's working on the business?
He's working on his business now instead of working in his business, because that's where he struggled, because he'd be going along and then see the next shiny object, and whoosh, and it's like, so we've got him figured out on a path of where he wants to go, and I'm working with him to get to his vision of get to where he wants to be, and we're working on his 1, 3, and 5 year visions, because it's kind of like a roadmap. If you don't know where you want to go,
right,
you're going to go this direction. So we figure out where you want to go. We figure out your goals. We break those goals down into steps, and I help you stay focused and keep going.
So how long will you be involved with this gentleman on that course? Will you be there the 3 and 5 years, or is that part of it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it'll change. Because
Sure.
we'll get to those goals, and then it's like, okay,
I'm not,
now where do you
because
want to go?
I have not experienced this, so I'm just curious. So anybody else that wants to, that's curious, that way they know too. So it's not just here's your game plan, here 3, 4, 6 months, and we'll talk to you later. But
No,
you're
I'm
there for the long haul
I'm
to
there
help them
for
out
the
as
long
much as you
haul to
can?
get 'em. Yep,
And
I'm
go on.
there until they either get to a point, because there's steps in everything. So they'll probably get to a point that I can't help them, and that's not.
A bad
And when
thing.
they get to that point that I can't help them, I don't want them to stop not having a coach. I want them to go have a coach that can get them to the next phase
Sure.
of their life. Or if they just want to stay there, that's where they want to go, because you always got to grow. But maybe their growth slows down and they're to that point. You still want to have a coach to keep you focused and to help mentor you and run things by you. That's what I didn't have. I didn't have that person to run things by them.
That had some knowledge. Or
That had some knowledge that
perspective.
would say,
What the heck
what are you talking about?
Right.
Or, yeah, I mean, that sounds reasonable. What about this, this, and this? 'Cause
Right.
my job is not to tell them where they're going.
Sure.
My job is to help them figure out where they're going.
Understand. So how did you become, you did the courses for 10 odd years, or
Mm-hmm.
so give me more
I did.
information on that. So
Podcast mainly while I'm driving.
Mm-hmm.
And then they always give out free stuff on all these podcasts and stuff.
is that like what you're going to do with
pretty
our
much.
listeners today?
And I would take all of it. I mean, and I would do free webinars. I literally would have to go through my emails and just start unsubscribing from stuff, because I was getting so much stuff, because I wanted to know what these people knew.
And the thing is also, you driving, doing sales, you had time to do that.
Yes,
To listen.
I had
Some
time
people
to-
don't have that luxury or advantage, but
Right.
you got to make the time. But
Mhm. There's
being
a study
said-
out there though that if you have a normal commute time, if you listen to and study like you're going to college, in 3 years you'll have a 2-year degree of just commuting to and from work.
I never went to college, so I don't know. That doesn't make sense to me.
So, definition of an expert is somebody that's spent 10,000 plus hours on a certain subject. So you can do that within 3 years. You can be an expert in something if you just dedicate the time instead of listening to music going back and forth.
Yeah, but
to
when
work,
I played
listen.
music, that's what crap.
Okay.
Wait a minute. These now.
I think we're figuring out an issue here.
I know there's a problem here. It's probably me. So, doing this, who inspired you? Was it Zig? Was it one of the other? Or was somebody that was doing you? How'd that come about?
It was
besides doing the courses.
It was, I really always wanted to help business, and I just never knew the path. I never knew how to get to them and how to help coach them. Well, and then I started listening to the Ziegler podcast, and they're like, "Hey, we're looking for coaches," and I'm like, "That's what I want to do. How do I do this?" So I called them. Okay. I got signed up for their program, and they've been teaching me for over a year, and I went through their Choose to Win program, which is Tom Ziegler's Choose to Win book, and we go through, so I got that program. I got Zig's See at the Top program, which is his #1 selling book that he's ever sold, and then I've got all the training for Ziegler Legacy, and that I've got all 3 of those certifications, and I've got hours of, my vacation last year was spent going through Ziegler training.
How'd your wife feel about that?
She was okay with it because she knew that's what I wanted to do.
Plus, if you were on vacation, she could still go do.
Well, and COVID really helped me
okay,
because
yeah.
I didn't travel as much. So it was
okay.
I gotta stay home, watch my house be built, and study and become.
Oh, sure, everything works out for you, John. Show off.
And it was a good year for tractor sales last year. So,
was it?
It was fantastic. Yeah, the tractor industry is oversold.
Wow.
Not just us. Everybody can't get tractors right now. It's a crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, and obviously I'm not aware of what's going on in that, even though my family has done some farming. But
yeah. Well, our big seller is to homeowners, so it's. And everybody's home.
Okay, there you
everybody's
go.
Everybody's home, and it's like, well, I want to put this garden in.
Okay.
Well,
that makes sense.
I'm still getting paid. I need a tractor. Let's go buy a tractor.
So you put those pieces in line for me. I just assumed farmers that already have stuff, they're buying
farming,
more stuff.
The big tractors, those sales are way down. It's all the small.
Everybody that's home doing. Okay, thank you. That
all
makes
the small
sense.
horsepower stuff.
A lot of remodeling stuff. A lot of all sort of hey.
And then I might as well do it myself because I'm at home working. And
right.
They don't have that commute anymore. So now all of a sudden they're got all this time and.
So back to your training. Listening to it, what else does that entail? Some testing somehow?
Yeah,
explain it to me.
I had so I think I had 6 weeks of nights doing Choose to Win.
And what's that entail?
That was basically they gave us assignments through the week. We did assignments. They come in. We work with an actual coach. David Wright's our instructor, and he's an actual coach, and he works with us, teaching us how to coach people on coaching. And then then I went through Ziegler Legacy certification, which was two weeks, 4 days. It went from Wednesday to Saturday, and we did it for 2 weeks. And that's my leadership. I got leadership training and my sales training, and then they came out with the See at the Top training, which is another 24-week period, which took another 6 weeks of at night.
Okay, so what my question is, because I obviously don't have a clue, I'm clueless. So when you do the 2.5 weeks What's that entail? Are you listening, because a lot of time people are doing courses online, so something's coming across, you're watching, listening, and then you sit there, but you have a coaching you.
Mm-hmm.
So is that online? Probably at this
Yes,
point.
it's all on.
Is that everybody at the same time is listening, doing the conference calls or
Yeah,
conference
it's all
online?
Zoom meetings.
Okay.
So they're all Zoom meetings. So you just get on Zoom. And,
Okay.
I mean, by now, pretty much everybody knows what Zoom is. I mean,
I've heard of it. I can't do it,
yeah,
but I've heard of it.
So and that's how I do my coaching.
Okay.
You know, is
Thank you.
we get on once a week. We get on a Zoom call and we. I can do it either Zoom or phone. I prefer Zoom. That way I can see what the other person, their expressions and
Sure.
what they're going through, and
Try to help
some
understand.
things you can get
Reading
some clues out of it that you're not going to get over the phone.
Right. Yeah.
I usually do, my discovery calls. I do those over the phone because it makes the people more comfortable and open up a little bit more.
Okay. We talked discovery call.
Mhm.
We were talking that before the show started. What is a discovery call?
So a discovery call is that's where I'm going to figure out if we're a good match to work together for one, because you have to have a good personality, because it's not going to do either one of us any good if we're totally opposite. And so we
Again,
figure out,
screwed.
we talk to, and I discover where you're at.
Right.
I get curious about where you want to go, and then I give you action steps to get you to that. And then at the end of it, if it's a good fit and it's something you want to work with me, we go over the details at that time.
Nice. So the discovery call is your
Mm-hmm.
your terminology for that. And there's other terms that we discussed.
Yeah,
right?
there's other terms.
But-
I like to call it a discovery fit call because I'm not going to invite, because my coaching practice is invitation only. So I have
Sure.
to, and I want to work with people
That
that want to be helped.
There you go.
Because there's some people that get into it that they don't want to be helped, and it's not what I want.
Are they-
I need
Do they
somebody
come
open.
across like they say they do, but you can tell that they don't? Or is it just what?
No, when we dive into it,
Mhm.
my job is to ask the questions to figure that out, and that's what I do during those calls.
Hmm.
Is I ask those questions to figure out if they're ready to be coached.
So they think they're, so just curious on my end, because once again, I'm learning here from you, John. You're coaching me just on this, how that works. So if we're doing a discovery call, discovery fit call, and we start talking, you start asking questions, and I answer them whatever way that tells you I'm not serious or I don't want to be helped.
I'll still give you some at the end. I'll still give you some action steps to take.
How do you approach that? As in, besides, this is what I can help you this, or I can give you some advice or perspective, but I don't think I'd be right for you, or I don't.
I approach that as
Or you don't want to be helped, and I can't help you.
no, no, I don't go there. Even though my high D personality would
See-
like to go there,
I get it.
I don't
get it.
go there, because most of the time, if they're calling me, whether they think so or not, they want to be helped. They have something in them that it's up to me to dig that out of them.
Can you give me an example on that? It's fascinating to me because, I have no clue what you're asking. I do understand some of this just from other things I've dealt with in my life, but
So
what would a question be, and what would the answer be that goes, how's that for a question? You go, ooh, he does it.
well, when they go, I don't say anything.
Okay.
I let them answer the question, and then they may be very vague about that question. So one of the biggest questions is, well, tell me more about that. Oh, really? Well, tell me more. It's usually after you dig down a little bit that you figure out what they really mean. Because our first answers as a human being are usually guarded answers. They're not 100% the truth, so you got to dig into those and figure out what that is all about.
Sure.
And that's my job, is to figure out.
That's how you've learned how to do that.
That's what I've learned
God,
to
he's
do.
better than me. I'm sorry. I hate you, John. You're awesome. Actually, it's intriguing to me. Doing the training and for what was the worst part of that for the 3 different levels that you were doing? when you were doing it? What was the worst part and what was the best part? Just in case somebody else.
Probably sitting in front of that computer for all that time, because my personality is squirrel. So I really had to focus, and luckily they were recorded, because there's
you can take a break.
and
Okay.
they'd send us the recording. So because there'd be times like, man, what did they say right there? Because I am not. So I'd go back and find that area. It's like, oh, that's what they're talking. Oh yeah, okay, yeah. Or I'd just go watch the whole, 2 hours or whatever. If certain areas of it, I could go and pick that out and rewatch it, because I do that a lot.
Do they vary lengthwise night to night within those two time?
No, it was pretty. They kept it pretty.
Okay.
It's like, this is, we've scheduled this much time,
Okay.
and because they value everybody's time's valuable. Theirs, yours, and so they tried to keep it to that.
Okay. So in case anybody is interested, do you do that once you get with them? When you start basing, do you have a set
Yes.
for your client? So, hey, this is what this is the time. You set it aside. Blah
Yep.
blah 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 blah.
It's usually about an hour.
Okay.
Every session.
Okay.
With that person, so, if they go
Sure.
an hour and 15 minutes, if we really get to where
Sure.
we're learning something really good about that person, and they're learning something good, I don't mind going a little extra, but
Right, but at least it's standard, so that way. Okay.
we don't want to go too long, because it'll get,
Right.
we won't get it much accomplished. And usually that's because sometimes it's because you get to doing too much of this and not enough of this, and we get back to it. And I've never experienced that before.
No, you never
like
have. I
this
know.
show
I never have.
or anything like that. But
See, John, I'm trying not to answer your answer, but I don't know the answers, so I'm trying to learn. I'm trying. So, well, process from when you got done with the training courses to doing your own. How'd that work? What's involved with that to get clients at that point? Do they have leads for you?
Nope, they don't have leads, and it's just me talking to my network. Is how I started. They did give me a couple of leads. A couple of my coaching clients were from Ziegler, but for the most part, I started having discovery calls before I even graduated.
I would imagine
And
you, John.
I just, because it's pretty easy for me, because all I'm doing is helping that person. That's all I'm doing is trying to dig into them, and I've learned. I've been, I think I'm, what do I have, six clients so far, and I have learned my process is different now than when I first started.
I would imagine.
Just because I've figured out how to help them more, and I started out doing group coaching because I thought I could help more people, and I quit doing group coaching, and I'm just strictly one-on-one, because they get more out of it when it's one-on-one.
What is group? Obviously, it's a
You'll
group,
have,
but
2 or 3 people, and you're going through the book, and you're answering questions, and you're trying to help each one of them a little bit,
that'd be interesting.
But you just don't get as much out of it as if you.
I wouldn't think so, but yeah, if I was either the group or trying to teach somebody, you guys, for me, it'd be either more specific. Either way, either if someone's trying to teach me, obviously I need more help, so schedule accordingly.
Yeah, and it was, that was usually, a couple hours a night, because you had more people and you wanted to.
Okay, yeah.
But getting people to open up
in a group would be
in
probably
a group
hard too.
was a lot harder, because some of mine, they'd start out as a group, and maybe a couple of people didn't show up that night, and so it was just one-on-one.
Oh, that was.
Oh, and you got so much. The person got so much better value out of it by that one-on-one. That's how I came up with that. It's like I'm going strictly one-on-one, because they hold back a little bit, and my job's to not get them to hold back, and to get them moving in the right direction and get the right mindset.
I would understand that,
and keep their mindset where you get in a group and you might not say something that you would with just 2 of us.
Well, you're there obviously to help, or when you were your mentor teacher was obviously there to help you if you're one-on-one, but you have other people that you might be, worried about being judged. People do that, and people are scared of, oh, what if this, that, and they're,
And that's
it's too bad.
And
but
that's my job, and that fear that people have, because we always have this sense of fear when you go to step out and do something different. There's a fear there that's stopping you. My job is to get you past that fear
Sure.
and to move on,
Sure.
because the people that grow and they move past that fear. The people that are very successful, they've had that fear.
Oh yeah.
But instead of letting that fear control them, they control the fear and they move past it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's my job to help you move past that fear, because we all get it. You guys probably had it your first show. You're probably like,
No, I didn't.
oh, yeah, well, he says he did it.
John, I've been on stage for 30 years. I was looking forward to it. I realized I got a story, but I won't bore you with it. There are certain fears that because of what I've done in my life, I don't
Right.
have. We'll talk after the show, but I don't. It's like doing this. I was excited. Ryan will tell you. I was like, yeah. I was helping whatever we could do. Let's do this. Even now, it's like.
But there's other fears that you have that you have to push through.
No, the only thing is not knowing what I'm going to do next right now. That's the only fear, because I don't know I have an idea what I want to do, but for the last couple of months, you can edit this out, but I have been lost because I've done everything I want to do.
No, don't edit that out, because that's what I help do.
I wanted to be a rock and roll drummer in a band and tour and make music and do this. Been there, done that. Didn't get to the level I wanted to, but looking back, I'm glad I didn't, because I got to experience and do more than most people, but I didn't lose my family in Christmas, holidays, birthdays, what a lot of bigger bands do. I decided to get crazy, be a mascot type, and that's taken off more than I ever expected.
But that's what I do. I help people figure out what that is.
I don't have
Exactly
fear.
what
I
I
just
do.
don't. I don't. It's
And
not
sometimes
fear.
it's not fear. It's
It's
just
just-
sitting down and getting that other opinion and going and having somebody on the outside looking
Sure.
in going,
Sure.
okay, well, this is what I'm seeing.
Sure.
Is this what you're seeing? Is this how you're feeling? And asking the questions again.
I finally figured out what I wanted to do. I'm just trying to, now that happened a week or two ago. I told you what that was, didn't I? So I'm just trying to figure out which way, and we're gonna have a guest in a couple weeks that another gentleman I'll talk to. We'll talk, but I gotta do something with kids and helping and mentoring, and so that's gonna be the most.
My one business client that I've got now, that's exactly what I'm helping with, is getting him figured out and getting him understanding and how he's going to make money and how he's going to monetize on what he wants to do, and that's what I learned, and that's why I focus on small business, but I also help other people. I've got a discovery call this week with a gentleman that he's a mechanic and he needs to get out of being a mechanic, but he ain't got a clue as to what he wants to do. And so my job is to go in there and help him figure that out and
Interesting. Okay.
and get that mindset of, okay, figure out his why. I help people figure out why they want to do stuff. Because just because you know you want to do it, you got to know it. Because if you don't have a big enough why, it won't get done. So that vision and that why are very important.
Again, I
And that's
know.
the first thing.
I know why for me, John.
Yeah.
I do know why I have to do what I want to do.
Awesome.
So I didn't know what I had to do. It's like, what am I going to do when I grow up?
When's that gonna happen?
Well, technically, never. I just got to figure out what I want to do with the rest of my life and for the next however.
And I struggle with that too until I come across the coaching, and then it was
Maybe
like,
I need to
this
get
is
into
what,
this whole zig and get in coaching.
this is what I want to do.
But I think I
This
want to
is
help
how I
kids
help.
more than adults, because adults can be dumbasses, even if you give them perspective and guidance. But if they're paying for it, maybe they'll pay more attention, right?
Usually,
Hopefully.
usually they do, because
Right.
they're spending money and they don't want to spend their hard-earned money unless they're getting value out of it.
Right.
And I'm
Funny how that works,
I'm
right?
big on, Rabbi Daniel Lappin, he says that you help people so you can get these little green things called certificates of appreciation.
Dollar bill, may I say?
Dollar bill.
Huh, I got that
And
one.
That's what that's where we're all. That's what we're all after is. But the more people you can help, the more. Zig's biggest saying: you can have everything in life you want. It will just help enough other people get what they want. So my goal is to help enough other people get what they want, so I can have what I want.
Now, wait a minute. You can help all the people, but if you're not getting paid or getting monetary out of that, if you're just helping them, but you're not getting anything out of there,
That's bad business.
Once again, are people doing it for business to make? See, I'm dicing with you, John. I'm messing with you. Let's see. Zig Ziglar says, but wait.
But helping people
get, and they're going to pay you to help them. I understand, but just to help them for free.
Yeah, there's just. I mean, that's called your pastor. You go if you want help. And yet, for free, you go to your pastor and you let him help.
I don't have one of those. They want to take me in the church anyway.
But most of the time, you get what you pay for, right? So if you're not giving anything to get anything, you're gonna get exactly what you pay for.
I have to think about that. We'll talk.
Because I have a coach. I have a coach and meet with the coach twice a month. Because I figured, hey, if you're asking people to pay you to coach, you might want to have one, right? And they keep me straight in my business.
Okay. See, for me, if you're kind of dealing with the same stuff and you're learning how to do this better, which you're doing, obviously you said when you started your procedures and how you approached the client or the person you're helping. But if they move to that 5-year, 10-year, and that's where you stay to help people per se, and they move on and they maybe get another coach that helps them for that next 5-10 years. And understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, and it's not really about the timeline. It's about the
goals,
education that or your knowledge. So I can only get them to. It's no different and. Corporations run into this all the time, and they got to understand that there's different levels of CEOs. There's CEOs that can take you from this level to this level, but that's as far as they can take you, and they got to understand that that's their sweet spot, and then they need to go take a company, and then they need to hire another CEO to take them from here to here, and a lot of companies, especially corporates, they try and hire somebody that's going to be around forever, and that's not what you want. Because you only have a certain amount of knowledge and skill, and unless you're willing to go put in the time and get the rest of that skill.
So see what I'm getting confused with. I hate to do this, but I'm confused. Imagine that. Shut up, Ryan. So if you're doing that and you're the CEO that does this right here, gets you to that point, and then you get another guy, another person you're helping that gets you from that, gets from boom, 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 but. So you've already done this. You've done it for years. I'm not saying you can't learn something, but to have a mentor,
Well, the other thing you can do as a CEO is you go hire smarter people than you. So now all of a sudden, you're still doing it, but you've hired people.
So is that your plan to take that knowledge from your mentor that's helping you now to take it farther?
Because I'll get in the same.
There you go.
They're helping me with my mindset and my fear.
Okay.
Because, you don't want to start, you got to be confident. And when you're starting something new, there's always that drawback. It's
sure,
like,
there's concern.
I'm getting to this point. Am I a good enough coach? Am I really helping these people? And their job is to do the exact same thing. Well, what are you doing? And because we all need that. We all need that outside perspective to make sure that, because we'll get in our mind, and that's why we start with mindset. We start with mindset and physical and spiritual, because if you have those three things, that's the start. And mindset is the biggest thing, because what you feed your mind is what will take you there. So if you're not feeding your mind, which is the bad thoughts, if you're feeding them bad thoughts versus good thoughts, and it's up to the coaches to make sure you're feeding your mind with good thoughts and not bad thoughts.
Here's how my mind works, John. I don't worry, because when I start something, I know there's going to be mistakes made, and I'm going to learn from those mistakes. I was taught, my brothers, Jim in particular, we've discussed this since my father's passed. We were taught, figure it out. whatever it is. You're gonna make mistakes, you're gonna learn, whatever. So I don't have a fear of failure, because it's gonna happen. It's happened. But you live and learn. You make it happen. You figure it out. You want it, you'll make it happen.
Yeah, and part of that is so. What if you had somebody that could come alongside you and make it to where you didn't make as many mistakes? Because you're gonna make mistakes.
Oh yeah, I just admitted that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And that's just growth. I mean,
well, if I've taken the course, part of it's just me growing and learning how to do it myself, whatever it may be. If I was coaching and I've done your courses, I'm not saying but once again, I don't know, so maybe I'm tripping myself or being
it's no different than it's no different.
But I know that I'll figure it out. I'll get better. If I got questions, can't you go back to your teachers that taught you? If you have particular questions, go. I ran into this and I'm not really sure.
Yeah. Or you can have a coach and ask him, and you can figure it out together. Because you know how many coaches Tom Brady has?
I don't.
8.
Okay, yeah.
He's got his head coach. He's got his quarterbacks coach.
I know, like Russell Wilson.
Sure. Yeah, same thing. They've got their coaches that are on the team, but they've got coaches outside.
Personal coach. Oh, I know.
For off season, especially for off season and mechanics and most of those coaches were never quarterbacks.
Correct.
But they studied and learned what quarterbacks need to do. And
then they specialized.
They specialized from there, and
I'm
they got
aware
trainers, and so the strong are the people that hire coaches. The weak are the ones that don't hire coaches. I had a guy tell me that the other day. It's like coaching's for the strong.
Yeah, I'm not arguing. I just the fear of thought for me. Once again, I'm just talking about me. There's stuff obviously I need to learn. But I'm not afraid of going for it and screwing up, because I'm going to. Arrogance maybe. It's just confidence. I've done enough in my life.
Confidence is good.
Where people said, "Oh, you can't." That is like you just told me. I will show you how it's done. Where are my dogs? They're going crazy.
Confidence is good.
Not that I haven't screwed up a lot. What's a typical day when you do that? How's that work? Because you're still working your day job. So
the lucky part is my day job is I've got a lot of flexibility. So I mean, I'm up at 5 o'clock in the morning, usually working on my business, my coaching business till 8, and then I'll start answering emails and stuff, and for the tractor side of it, and then I have most of my coaching is in afternoons or and I've got coaching clients that are in the East Coast that I can coach them in the mornings or
awesome.
I mean, with today's technology, I can have a coaching client anywhere I want.
Right, correct. It's how
just
small the world is.
Get on Zoom and let's have a meeting. So
let's pause for a second. You got to edit that.
Well, do I?
You don't have to. Well, it's an unedited version, so we have people and dogs running around. We're in the building we're in. I thought it was Keith.
Oh.
He was gonna. I asked him, but I hadn't talked to him today. So doing this, how long? You've been doing a year-ish. What do you dislike about it so far, and what do you enjoy about it so far?
I love the coaching part.
Helping people?
Yeah. I hate finding people. That's the hardest part, is to find people that really want to grow and really want to invest in themselves, because that's what it is. It's an investment in yourself. And there's a lot of people that don't. And there's people that they're fine with where they're at, and that's not who I'm looking for. I'm looking for that person that doesn't know what they want to do and doesn't have that idea and can't figure it out. That's the and wants to grow, and that's the hardest part is just finding those people that really truly want to grow.
Doing your sales job, you should know there's a lot of, I'm sure, opportunities that you run across over, so you can contact an offer, but whether they're going to be interested in
right, and any kind of sell, they got to trust you. If you don't, if you don't have trust, you're not gonna.
Correct.
There's no sale gonna happen because they got to trust you, and that's why I ask the questions, and that's why I hope to, when we get in that hour call, I can help you figure that out. And
Why would somebody trust you at the end of the hour call?
because I've asked the right questions, and
Yeah.
I've made them realize some stuff that maybe they didn't
can't-
realize.
Why would I trust a guy to talk to for an hour? I can't. I've been married to women.
That's why, because it's a guy.
I've been in bands with guys that screwed me over too. So just saying. So time in the office, time in the field is my next question. You're pretty much in the office, kind of, on doing that at this point. Am I correct?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And I'm not an office guy really, but
Yeah. No, I could see. We've talked
but
about
right
that.
now
Yeah, you have.
there's no networking events going on,
Right.
so there's not.
Hopefully
You know,
soon.
there's some, the Rotary guys and the Chamber guys, they're all doing Zoom stuff, but
Right.
now you're still in the office,
Right.
So
But you are sort of in the field when you're doing your Zoom.
yeah,
I mean,
you
it gets
still-
you
that's-
focused on everything outside of the office.
Mhm. Yeah, so I'd rather be. But I figured out I'm getting older, and
How dare you?
and the everyday grind of working and doing stuff. It's time to use this more than
Oh
this.
crap! I'm screwed
Because
there too now.
I can't lift my arm up right now because I have surgery coming in 2 weeks because I tore my rotator.
Don't do that.
Yeah, building my house.
Don't do that.
So it was
Wow.
like, man, I'd rather just.
Wow. Yeah. So, what do you think? People that know of the coaching system, what do you think is the biggest misconception the general public has to what you do with this, and how do you change it?
The biggest misconception is probably that I'm gonna sell them. That I'm gonna try and sell them something, and I'm not. I don't sell coaching. I serve people. So
Okay.
I'm not into even at the end of it. Yeah, I'm gonna tell you what it's gonna cost, and
Sure.
But-
It's a service. It's
but
not.
I'm
you're
also
there for
gonna
them.
even if you don't sign up for me, I'm gonna give you some action step to take you closer to what the vision we just figured out for you.
Nice, and hopefully that'll earn their trust too.
Mm-hmm.
If not, maybe they'll come back around and go,
Yeah, because that
maybe if I did those things, hey, I did a
I've
couple
actually
of
had
them,
that
sure.
happen. Or
Did you?
You had the call and they're like, no, and they come back. They come back a few months later and go, tried to do this on my own. This isn't working. I need some help. And away we go.
Awesome. See, my thought would be they actually listen to you. At least it didn't take you initially, or as a full time, but you suggested a couple things,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe they eventually tried and went, "Oh, son of a." Have you had that happen?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
kind of the same thing.
Okay.
You give them those suggestions and they start learning, and then they figure out that they can't. It's really hard to get there sometimes. Especially if you got
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The mental place.
the mental place.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I
That's
understand that.
the-
Most people are that way. I
Mhm.
do get it.
Mhm.
So doing this, you had an idea. Like, I know your building is growing. Like money, income for that. Are you going to be able to retire from your day job here in there next month?
My goal is by the end of the year
Wow.
to
And you got to pay for your new house.
to bring. See, I'm a firm believer when you want to do something else, you bring the dock or the boat really close to the dock, so when you jump,
Mhm.
you don't get wet.
Mm.
So
Whatever.
I'm building my coaching business to where.
Sure.
When I leave, it's not going
That's
to replace
log-
my income.
John,
but
that's
it'll
logical. Why be logical? Let's
it'll
just
be a
jump.
lot closer.
There's nothing there.
I've been there, and it's not as much fun as if you just.
Yeah. It's a little exciting, though.
Mm-hmm.
My question is like benefits, vacation for one, but it's all you're just
It'll all
doing
be
what
me. Yeah.
doing
When
yourself, making
when
it
I
happen.
do my coaching, it'll be, and I'm a firm believer now of staying out of debt and investing
Staying
in
out of debt.
in my.
Where do you get these
retirement.
crazy ideas and like raising your kids as a parent? How dare you?
So the benefits are going to be,
What
and
you
that
make it.
it's going to be rough. I mean, insurance is going to be the worst thing. Whenever you go out on your own, but
Mhm.
they're coming up with better programs. So
There you go. Take it as it is.
and you just
Figure it out.
because I can't. we can't do. We're getting older. We have to have insurance. Just you know, if I
Oh,
was
you
in
keep
my
hurting
if I was in
yourself.
my 20s or 30s, there's probably a good chance that I
Go
might
hurt
not.
your rotator cuff.
Yeah.
Dumbass. Oh.
So, but it's just it's what I want to do, and the way I figure it is, if I'm doing something that I really enjoy doing,
Oh, come on.
it's not, or it won't act like a real
How
job.
dare he
It'll
come up
just-
with those?
Yeah.
Find something you love to do and it's not a job or it's not work. What advice would you give somebody that might be interested in getting into coaching and doing that, or that whole situation?
Start growing yourself now. Use the time wisely. Don't go home and binge watch Netflix all weekend long.
Oh, crap.
Sign up for they're gonna try and sell you something at the end, but there's a lot of free webinars. There's a lot of free stuff out there.
Online, there's a lot of stuff, information.
And just figure out what it is you like to do, and if you want, and just like me, you got to niche down, and I'm working. I'll help anybody, but my main focus is that small business owner that's just getting started, or that's just started, 5-10 years, and or that business that they've kind of hit a plateau and they're stuck, and to get them out of that.
And once again, you've been there, so you know.
And get them out of
Not
that,
just
and I can help them get out of that being stuck.
Stuck. What do you want
Being
to be?
stuck is not fun. It's not fun.
John, what did you want to do when you were a kid? What was your dream career, dream job? Did you want to be a cowboy? You want to be an astronaut? Did you want to be a fireman? Did you want to be a plumber?
No. I think when I was graduating high school, I was going to become a physical therapist. For some weird reason. I have no idea.
Wow.
And I just went to work. And I was like, I'm just going to go to work.
Money.
I just want to, we didn't grow up I grew up working.
Right.
I grew up on a farm and started working when I was, 10 years old. As soon as I could reach the pedals or
whatever you had to do.
Whatever I had to do. So I was like, I'm just going to go to work, and I'm really glad I did. I went and got a 1 year. I didn't even get my full degree in hydraulics. Because I got a job a year after I started. So they come and hire me. It's like, okay, I'm gonna go to work.
Go to school.
Obviously, I don't need a degree because they're gonna hire me already. So
There you go. Show off. Gosh, John. Okay, so we're almost at the end of the show. So let's hit again. Do you want to offer our listeners?
Yep. So if you go to my website,
And with your website again is?
N as in Nancy, courageservices.com. And you can sign up for a free giveaway there. There's probably going to be a couple of them. The Wheel of Life and a Leadership
There will be a couple gifts?
giveaways.
Okay, thank you.
That you can sign up for.
Okay.
And then I'm also going to give, after this comes out, the first 3 people, I'm going to give away 3 Discovery Fit calls.
Wow.
To the first 3 people that go on my website, go to the contact me section, and there'll be an email there. Email me career paths.
Career paths that you heard them here, and then you just randomly.
I will set up a discovery. I usually only do a couple of them a week.
Sure.
So I'm giving that out to your audience.
So you'll email them back and say, hey, I want to. You want to call, and I'd love to talk to you and see if we can help you out.
Email them back.
That's
with
awesome.
a couple of times during the week.
I'll be on your website because obviously I need a lot of help. Maybe John will take a call or call me. I doubt it, but
you'll be able to get a lot more information off that website too. So.
What is on the website besides how to contact? Just
it's my bio, my training, because I do sales training and leadership training also. By the time this airs, I would have had my first quarter. I do a leadership because I believe in leadership. There's a lot of managers out there, but there's not a lot of leaders out there.
what do you mean by what definition of leadership or leader
So
to you?
a manager is in control of somebody under them. A leader helps people under them. So they're not bossing them around. They're leading them and getting the best out of them that they possibly can. Because You don't build a business, you build people, and people build your business.
Correct. I agree
So-
with that. Yes.
My goal is to build that leader so he can build his people, so he can build his business.
Awesome.
And that's what I do.
So you're a leader.
Mm-hmm.
You're not a manager.
Managers. There's lots of managers out there. I want to grow leaders because there's not a lot of leaders out there.
I would agree with that. Yeah. Because they don't know what they're doing. They don't know how to lead.
And if you're a manager, try to strive to become a leader. And that takes learning and growing and
That's life. Learning and growing. To be better.
Mm-hmm.
Gosh, John,
I use ABLE as an acronym. Always be learning.
always be. You spell and I can't write or spell or talk. Or, I'm gonna have to come out and have dinner with you or barbecue in the pit out there at the new house. So we're gonna have to sit down and talk. You won't call me, I know that. Anything else you'd like to add?
I just want to thank you guys for letting me come on.
Thank you. It's obviously I've got questions. I'm learning just talking to you what, where, and how.
And it's so easy because it's just two guys, and that's my discovery call. It's just two people having a conversation.
I would imagine with you.
Just all around us having a conversation.
We had you on before, and I felt like I'd known you forever, and that's why I reached out to you immediately and said thank you, and said when do I get to come out, and you actually responded, so thank you.
Actually, give you my address.
I know.
Isn't that weird?
I was surprised. Hey, come on, visit anytime. I don't know where you live, John.
Well, here you go.
Son
There
of
you
a,
do.
I was blown away.
I always build a fire. That's my happy place.
Yeah.
Hanging around the fire.
When you're old and have a bad rotator cuff, that's why. Did you learn from that, John? Stop hurting yourself.
I learned that go to the doctor sooner.
So how
Because
long?
I wouldn't have been. It's been like I heard it in high school.
Oh, well, I thought you heard it building in your
I
house.
finished it off building my house.
Oh,
I
okay,
heard
let's
it in
clarify.
high school.
Oh, I didn't know that about it.
Yeah.
Dumbass.
Yeah.
Huh.
I've always been able to at least lift my arm up. And now I've gotten to the point to where.
Was there pain or anything in it in those years? Or?
Oh yeah, I couldn't.
Okay.
I haven't been able to throw a ball except for underhand for
Dumbass.
I don't know,
and you're
10 years.
God, guiding people with their business and being a coach is don't.
I've learned.
Your physical.
I've got to start taking better care of myself and going and getting physicals.
Or if you hurt yourself, maybe go get it checked.
Yeah, go get it
back
checked.
from high school. How old are you? Never mind. Sorry, John. Oh my goodness! Thank
I
you.
didn't say I was the smartest. The
Well, I
sharpest tool in the shed.
I never accused you of that. I've never said I was. Far from it. I know Ryan isn't. I mean, he's brought us together, so obviously not. John, thank you very much. We'll get you on again. I'm actually really curious. I want to get you back on in like 6 months or a year or sooner to do with more of this because I think this might be really helpful for our listeners. I know it's helpful for me, just having a clue on certain things because my life's been different than most, so I have a different perspective.
I listen to your listeners, and I often go, I could help them.
Well, hopefully after this, maybe they'll reach out to
maybe
you, and
they'll reach
especially
out.
with the free gifts, go to your website one more time.
Encourage Services. N as in Nancy, CourageServices.com.
Nice, thank you, John. Appreciate it. Thanks for coming on. You're our first two-timer.
Thank you for having me.
I've done you twice now, John.
Oh, okay.
And I work.
Cut. Cut.
What? I said he's been on the show 2 times. What? Did he take it the wrong way? Thanks for listening to Career Paths by Infonet. Please like, please subscribe. Leave a suggestion. It's your life. Make it happen. We appreciate it. Till next time.
Later.
Thanks, John.
That was fun.
That was. Thank you for bouncing. I knew you would, though.